Good morning, dear seniors, faculty members, and my batchmates and student friends. I am Harshal Thakre from MBA 21 batch. Would like to give brief introduction about the Ramdev Baba Alumni Connect Association. The Alumni Association is registered in the name of Ramdev Baba Alumni Connect Association, and it's incorporated as Section 8 company, not for profit company. And under the banner of Alumni Association, the alumni have undertaken a lot of activities, which includes a success series by Tate Rami and Adda, knowledge series. Then last year we did a carnival for alumni. We have a very active Ignite chapter for business exchange and entrepreneurs. We are also having a mentorship program for named as a coach, Raka coach. It's for the students of college. Presently, Raka have active chapters in Rajasthan, which is Raka Rajasthan chapter and Raka Pune chapter. Very soon, we'll be coming up with chapters in various cities across country and the world. The mission of Ramdev Baba Alumni Connect Association is to locate, connect, associate, and collaborate. And ever since I graduated from college, I am very much experiencing it a first hand, because I am getting a lot of mentorship in my business from senior alumni. Now I request Shreyansh Agrawal to briefly introduce the activity by name Raka Knowledge Series. Over to you, Shreyansh.
Thank you, Ashar. Good morning, everyone. I, Shreyash Agrawal, welcome you all to Rami and Adda. Rami and Adda is a part of Raka. Rami and Adda, there are two verticals, success stories and knowledge series. In success stories, we invite our eminent alumni who have outperformed in their domains to connect with students and alumni to inspire them. In knowledge series, we conduct informative sessions on specific topics. And today we are proud to have a knowledge series session with our alumni, Mr. Anshuman Tiwari. I now request Ms. Mridula Kode to please introduce our guest.
Good morning. Good morning, audience. It's my great pleasure to introduce our speaker today, Mr. Anshuman Tiwari. Anshuman is a process transformation professional with experience across multiple industries, including banking, professional services, information technology, manufacturing, and consulting. He specializes in setting up and scaling world class operations excellence programs. Anshuman is driven by impact and loves to lead people to deliver amazing results, usually 10x or more. In the last few years, he has also managed large RPA and digital initiatives. He is a fellow of ASQ. As a hobby, he runs a podcast and YouTube channel focused on managing better. Anshuman helps early and mid career professionals to manage better at work. He is a part of the LinkedIn Top Voices 2022 and LinkedIn India Creator Accelerator program. He has a vast professional experiences in different roles in various companies like HSBC, ANZ, Infosys, etc. Anshuman is currently head of delivery excellence with DXC Technology, where he manages a global team to help DXC deliver on its promises to customer. He has completed his BE in Industrial Engineering in 1994 from RCOM. He was having overall highest aggregate score across all years in Industrial Engineering. He has also won the first and third prizes at two Maharashtra state level competitions and in the college. After engineering, he has completed his postgraduate diploma in management, in operations management from KJ Somaiya Institute of Management. He has also completed his emeritus postgraduate diploma in innovation and design thinking innovation, which is a hybrid learning course in collaboration with MIT and Tuck School. Today, Anshuman is going to talk to us about building intentional careers. The future depends on what you do today. So this is a topic in which all students may be deeply interested in to ensure best career while still they are doing their undergraduation. We believe that opportunities don't happen, you have to create them. So the only way to do work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking and don't settle. These are the famous words from the Steve Jobs. So audience, please join me in welcoming Mr. Anshuman Tiwari on the platform of his alma mater. Over to you, Anshuman sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mridula ma'am. And it is always a pleasure and an honor and a responsibility as well to speak to students, alumni, and various other members who will be watching this. I am told that this session is recorded, so quite a few might be watching it later on as well. And so, first of all, thank you very much for inviting us. I always believe that wherever we go in life, whatever we may achieve, it's always good to look back and thank the roots that we started from. So, and the Institute Ramdev Baba, it was Ramdev Baba Kamla Nehru Engineering College that time during my days from 1990 to 94. Of course, the name has changed a little bit now, which reflects the changing times and the new programs that have been introduced. So, very pleased to see the progress. I was there, I think, in 2019 for the 25th year celebrations of our batch. So vividly remember the huge change that the institute has seen, and many congratulations to all those who are involved. And uh, it will be remiss of me to miss mentioning Professor Kainde's name. He Many of the current batch may not know the contribution that Professor A. Kainde had during the setup of the institute and the early years. So, sir, wherever you are, stay healthy and keep guiding us. And so, yeah, so that's like a setup. And of course, I benefited immensely from several other professors, Professor Keswani, who I'm told recently has retired from the institute as well. So, but we continue to stay in touch. So, with that out of the way, I wanted to talk to students, alumni, and anybody else who's listening to the program today a little bit about intentional careers. And the format of the show is such that I can take questions later on, so which I will do. But I'll try and wrap it up in about 30 to 35 minutes or so, maybe a little bit more, and then be open to questions. Uh, the format of the show is such that I think you can type in your questions from whichever platform you are in. So I'll wait for that. Now, coming to the topic of the day, building an intentional career. So, first of all, what is an intentional career? Right? So, we understand a little bit about what is a career, but why intentional? I deliberately use the word intentional because when you have certain intention to make a change, and that will help you make a plan for it. If you have limited intention, right, or no clear intention, your plan will not be suitable. And if your plan is not suitable, execution will be an accident. And if you achieve success to whatever your standards are, it will be only accidental. So success will be accidental, failure also will be accidental, and you will not be able to take responsibility for either. So I've always believed from the time that I was in Ramdev Baba College as well, and later on in my career as well, that I want to be responsible for my career. I may not be 100% responsible, but I certainly want to have some responsibility for my career. I interview a lot of students. I coach quite a few early career and mid career professionals. And the one factor that disturbs me most is that we are always happy to blame somebody else for our career failures. Right? All failures, but in general, because this topic today is career, we are always happy to blame everybody else. Oh, so and so did not give me good marks. This project was not good enough. I did not get through this. They did not select me. This did not happen. That did not happen. And that is all a proxy for blaming others and not taking responsibility for our own career. So that is the crux of having an intentional career. We have to take responsibility for our career. Nobody else can take responsibility for your career. Not your parents. Parents have done their job. Those who are students in this call or this webinar, parents have done their job. They have taken you through, high school and senior school education. They have put you in a good college. Ramdev Baba is a very, highly ranked college now. They've done their job. When will we take responsibility for our career? And your career actually doesn't even start when you get into college. It starts, later on, as you get into a job and you have to then perform, and then, promotions, and then more responsibility, and then so on. Throughout your career, you will always find, unless you have intention, your plan will be a terrible plan. And if you have a terrible plan, the execution, however good, doesn't matter, right? If you don't know where you are going in the sea, however fast you may row, you will not be able to get anywhere. So that's the crux of building an intentional career. And I've been speaking about this topic, writing about this topic for a couple of years now. And during the my coaching sessions, when I coach people, I bring up this topic: that what is your plan? Where are you going? So that's the crux of the whole talk. During the talk, I will share a few anecdotes and tips and tricks. But the number one lesson, and if you want to exit now and still want to take back some benefit from this talk, remember that we are the only ones responsible for our career. Not our parents, not our bosses, not our managers, not our team, no neighbors, no neighbor's dog, nobody else. In the moment you get that right, you will become a little bit more serious about your career. And by serious, I don't mean that, if you are in college, you don't enjoy the college life and don't have fun. Obviously, this is your time in life. You should. But that intention and that plan will keep you on track. I'll start with a small anecdote. Since Professor Midula mentioned a few achievements from my college days and all, which I had forgotten, but thank you for reminding me. During my final year, as I got into and this is 1993, I realized one thing, that the scores in second and third year or even fourth year will not be enough to get me a job. And these were the days when there were no campus placements, no campus visits from companies. In fact, 1994 was probably the first year where any company came for a campus placement to the institute. So I did realize very quickly, and that is the power of intention, that I wanted to get a good job, and I realized that to get a good job, I needed to put in place a certain, body of knowledge or a experience, which was difficult with only scores. What led to this fact that I needed to branch out and go out of the college a little bit. So first was that the group that I had, a group of friends, we picked a project under Professor Keswani, which was about ISO 9000 implementation. That itself was a huge change, because that allowed us to go to a company, Nico Walls, it is still there. We implemented ISO 9001 there, and as a student. And that gave us tremendous exposure. And that exposure helped us to think more. It opened more doors. And then I started thinking that, okay, this is not enough. I need to branch out. And that is where I won. We submitted papers, and I won two prizes jointly with the team. Uh, first prize and second prize in two competitions, where we were able to present our papers. And that opened the mind further, that opened the doors further. So that's the power of intention, right? So I'm not telling you a story which is from my today. I'm telling you a story which is from 27 years ago, when I was in, or maybe more than that, in college. Actually, almost 30 years ago, because 1993. So that's what you do with intention. So unless you have intention, you don't have a plan. If you don't have a plan, it doesn't matter wherever you are going. So hard work, all this, how fast you are running, all that doesn't matter. Okay. So that is point number one. The related couple of points are that, it is often quoted that there are many unemployed people in India. I have a slightly counter argument. Many of those unemployed people are actually unemployable. They have not invested in any skills. They have left their education to other people, to professors, to college, to everybody else other than themselves. And that is the saddest part of education today. Not only today, even last several years, that we leave our education in other people's hands, whether they are parents, professors, college, neighbors, anybody. We don't take responsibility for that education, and therefore we are unemployable. We are not unemployed. Nobody is looking at the large percentage of people to employ them because they do not have the skill sets. And I will come to a little bit on how we can change that. The generally people are waiting for other people's kindness, so we will get a job through some kindness. No, why kindness? You need to be able to do something to get there. And this is what is often called the victim versus victor mentality. So we are a victim. We could not get into a fantastic top rated college. I did not get into IIT. I did not get into IIM. I did not score this. I did not have money for laptop. I did not have this. I did not have this. Forgetting what you have. Right? This is victim mindset. So if you are in a victim mindset that the whole world is about going to crush you only, you will never be able to get into the victor mindset. The victor mindset is that whatever be the situation, wherever I am, I'll make the most of it. I'll find a way, and I'll keep working towards a better tomorrow. So I hope this is all making sense. And if you have questions, you can actually start putting your questions now as well. And I notice we are about 10-12 minutes into the session. So this was my introduction as I planned. Um, just to repeat a few things, what is an intentional career? Intention is when we build and don't coast along. It is not everything will be as per plan, but you will be in charge of the journey. You will be responsible and in charge of that journey. And we should happen to our career, not career should happen to us. We should not be a victim of the circumstances that we are in. How can we influence the situation, right? So that, keep that in mind. If you are a student and starting out, do something today which will make you irresistible in your interviews. Don't just land at the interview and hope that you will get, and then blame the interviewer that, oh, they did not select me, and maybe the people who got the job were possibly got it through some reference or something, right? So those are some things I keep reminding everyone. So how do we build this intentional career, right? So I told you a little bit of a story about my own starting of my career, but later on, when I was of course I trained in quality under Professor Keswani and other professors, Professor Kamal Agarwal and others also, many other professors. I think Professor Jawar was in new in college that time. So a lot of other professors. So I learned a lot, but I was still responsible for my career. What should I do next with my career? So as I got some couple of years of experience and then went for my MBA, as Professor Midula shared that I did my MBA with Somaya Institute in Mumbai. The key thought was that what area should I specialize in? And that is an extremely important topic for students today and even early career professionals. Build mastery in one topic, at least one topic. There should be one topic in the world that you know better than most people. Nobody can shake you on that topic. Keep deepening your knowledge in that topic. Become an expert in that topic. Nobody can shake you. If you keep floating around topic to topic, you are an expert in nothing. And as a result, there is no strong foundation. I decided very early on that I will make quality management as that topic. So I have stayed on that course for 25 plus years since then. and I still continue to be a student of quality management, continue to try and learn more, continue to try and invest more, speak to people, do whatever I can, but I am not moving away from my deep commitment to the subject of quality management. And that has meant, what is the outcome? Over the years, people recognize me as a student of quality management, or somebody, some name in quality management. So that has become my identity. Okay. So what is your identity? Look for it. What do you want to be known for? Are you investing anything in it today? Are you doing something today that will make you a name in that space 5 years from now? 5 years from now will anyway happen. If you don't do today anything about it, you will still be at 5 years and there will be no, nothing in your hands. It will be all accidental. And another 5 years will happen, and then another 10 years will happen, and 20 years of your career would have gone by. And that time you will think, oh, I did not build anything which is a deep domain knowledge. So, my strong suggestion for an intentional career is to build at least one area of knowledge that you are really an expert on. Uh, of course, by relative standards, you will never be an expert because there will be some people who will be better than you. That's fine. But are you better than most people in that one area? Can you teach that subject? Can you go to your college or any other college, if not Ramdev Baba, any other college, and teach that subject? Are you an expert of that level that people call you for guest lecture on that subject? Right? Find that subject. I'm not saying quality. The quality was my choice, but your choice may be totally different. But find that subject and deepen your knowledge in that area. Don't wait for the fruit right away. Fruits will arrive. You will get your labor of love maybe 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the line. But that investment is important today. If you can't make that investment, time will anyway pass. It is not going to stay for you. Only 10, 15 years later, we will realize that we could not invest. Right. So that is one important area. The second area which I talk about intentional career is life skills, and this is important for all students as well as any other professional, early or mid career profession as well. um, I'm deliberately not saying senior professional, because if you don't have life skills, the kind of that I'm mentioning, you're unlikely to become senior. You may become senior in age, but not in profession or stature. So that is broadly. So what are these life skills, right? So life skills are generally, what is today mentioned as soft skills, and I don't like the word soft skills because soft tends to indicate that they are not important, right? So, or whereas they are actually more important than the hard skills. So first one was the domain, which is broadly the hard skills that you need in your career. Second one is the life skills, which is often also called soft skills. But since I don't like the word soft skills, I'm using the word life skills. These are things like effective communication, good ability to write and articulate, being social with people. Can you break bread? Can you mix up with people? You don't have to be an extrovert. You don't have to be an outgoing person. But in a business situation, do you have those skills? I know quite a few of my friends, one in specific, who has extremely high extremely low on social skills, and very high ego, which means that he is waiting for people to reach out to him. Of course, very knowledgeable, but he's waiting for people to reach out to him. But the world doesn't have any time for reaching out to you. You can be left behind. Nobody's worried about you. You are the only one who's worried about you. You and your grandmother is the only one who are worried about you, you and your looks. Nobody cares. Please keep this in mind. If you think you are God's gift to mankind, cat's whiskers, that is not true. There are many, many, many people who are better, and the only choice in life is to go out, social, mix up with people, learn from them, share your knowledge, and so on. Right. So this is an extremely important part which is not taught in college, and since I have taught some semesters in other colleges as well, I keep reminding students that the world is not waiting with garlands and open arms for you. You have to earn that respect and right. So what are we doing today to earn that respect and right? So being social, leading, right? in situations where you are put in a leadership situations, are you able to lead? Can you command respect of a small group of people, or you command only in the canteen and cafeteria where who will get the samosas and teas? Is that your limit of leadership, or can you actually get something done? Next will be followership, right? So leading is fine, leadership is fine, but the world needs good followers also, who will get the job done. Are you a good follower? Can you be led? Can you understand instructions and perform accordingly? That is extremely useful, particularly in early career. In the first few years of a career, if you are a good follower, I believe that is a number one skill in your early career, because you are in a learning phase, you are in a phase where you are learning from others. If you can follow instructions, if you can understand, of course, you should have a mind of your own, but not too much, right? So, leadership and followership, both important. Next one will be keeping promises, right? So, if you are a person who's known for keeping promises, uh, you'll be awesome, because people will know that, okay, if I give some job to this person, they will do it. It will always happen. So these, I would say, small tricks, and maybe some additional ones I can add. What is the hobby that you have? Do you have a hobby? Right? Why is a hobby important? A hobby is important because it is also one, it is opens doors to your personality. You become more open minded, you meet new people in those hobbies, you understand, learn more, you become, because in many hobby areas you will be probably very junior, right? So for example, some years ago, I tried to get into endurance running, right? So 10 kilometers, 21 kilometers, 42 kilometers. And and at that point I was already quite accomplished in my career. So if I was already accomplished in my career, the trouble is that when I went into a slightly different hobby, which is running, I was at the lowermost rung. I was struggling to complete 10 kilometer. Then when I started completing 10 kilometer, my timing was 1 hour, 15, 20 minutes and all that. Some started with 1 hour, 30 minutes, which is terrible, right? But what it does is that it gives you humility, because when you go into a new space, you are no longer the boss. You are no longer the manager. You are the lowermost employee. And when you pick up a new hobby, particularly as you advance in your career, you will always go into at a lower level, and that will bring you down to earth, right? If you are full of yourself, that will bring you down to earth. And there are many such things, right? So I've just given you one example from my career. I think Professor Midra also mentioned that I am part of the LinkedIn, Creator Accelerator program, which is LinkedIn has selected 20, not 20, sorry, 200 creators in India, to where they are helping us to improve our game. There are 18 years old in that group. I am 50 plus now, right? There are 18 years old in that group, many of them. They're 21 years old, 22, 25, 18, 17, 19. But by joining that group, by committing to it, by interacting with these people, I am exposing myself and making sure that I am learning. Of course, they are also learning because we have experience, and from that experience, they will learn. But we are learning much more, and that is the power of having a hobby. Right? So, posting on LinkedIn was a hobby for me, but it has taken me somewhere. It has brought me to the top 20, not only top 20. This year, um, I am in the top 15 of LinkedIn India's career coaching group, and which is a result of helping others and making sure that you extend your hobby. So that's a hobby that I found, and it has taken me into a slightly different space. So what is your hobby? Can you ask yourself? So if you don't have one, please don't give me this gyan that you don't have time. Human beings have time for everything that they want to do, all of us. If you don't have time for something, means you don't want to do it, as simple as that. So don't give yourself this story. You become the your excuses soon become your life story. Please remember this. I'll say this again: your excuses today become your life story 5 years down the line, you will be known as that person who had an excuse for everything. Don't be that person. Be anything, but don't be that person. That tag you will not be able to remove from your life throughout your life, right? Look at why you don't do certain things. If they are excuses, please get rid of them. Right? This slight digression, but the reason I bring this up is because I hear that a lot. People saying clearly that, oh, I don't have time, I'm very busy. Busy doing what? If you don't have time for your life's priorities, then busy doing what? Right? So please ask yourself that question. And so those are life skills. One more life skill I can add is time management, right? So I think I did earlier that being on time, for example, or keeping your promises. Half the battle in life and in career is being on time, showing up, and being attentive. If you are in a career, in any company career, I can assure you that if you're on time or before time, and you are attentive during the meeting, not looking at your phone, not looking at here and there, not checking people out, if you're on time and attentive, you are doing well, right? You are smart enough. The only issue is that we want to achieve, and I give this analogy, right? We want to lose weight, but without going to the gym, without controlling our food habits, without going for a walk, without doing this, nothing. We don't want to be suddenly surprised one day. We should wake up and our weight should be 10 kgs less. If you are younger, you may not understand this problem, but as you get older, you will understand this problem. What is this fascination with without getting some outcome, without any effort? Nothing happens without any effort. You have to put that effort. And this fascination with a magical outcome that, I will sleep through my 4 years in engineering, and then I will be the topper in the final year, and then, some company will be there with the garland, and they will put the garland on our head. Does not happen. So you have to do something, and that's the power of the intentional career that I have been speaking about. So I told you there are three parts to this intentional career. One is mastery, which is mastery in a specific topic, which is domain. The second is life skills, which is what people call soft skills also. And I shared some examples and stories about those life skills and or soft skills. The third area is personal branding. And why personal branding? You may say that, oh, if you are a student, you may say, oh, I'm 20-year-old, I'm 22-year-old, I don't need personal branding. My brand is my family name. My brand is my parents. My brand is my college. My brand is my friends, and so on. That's all nonsense. 10 years down the line, you will realize that 10 years has gone. Nobody knows you. Right? Nobody beyond your friend circle knows you. You have wasted those 10 years to build a brand. Today, it is extremely easy to build a brand. Right? Extremely easy. And because it is easy, there is more competition. Everybody can do it. Right? If it is easy, there will be competition. If there is competition, you will have to work harder to make one, or you will fall by the wayside. For example, this was, I'll go back to the LinkedIn example. And by the way, if some of you want to connect with me or follow me on LinkedIn, please do so. I'll be more than happy to share what I know or what I have learned later on as well. So that's always I look forward to. Right. So the personal branding part is, I'll come back to that. It's important because without you knowing, you don't know this, but you already have a personal brand. Right. Look yourself in the mirror and ask, what is your personal brand? What do people know you about? How do people talk about you? If I talk about myself, what will people think of Anshuman? How do people know Anshuman Tiwari? So over the years, I've got the answer. I've spoken to people. They think of me as a person who has some knowledge in quality management area and is happy to, learn and share about career building with, early and mid career professional. And that's what I have built my brand around. So Of course, I started working on my brand only last few years, but that's because the opportunities of social media came around. Many of you, particularly the younger lot, would be investing, and I'm carefully choosing the word investing because you think it is investing. It is actually wasting your time on Instagram and other such platform. Why not use the same time to build a brand for yourself on Instagram? Right? If you are that good at Instagram, you are consuming other people's brand. Build a brand for yourself, or LinkedIn, or Facebook, or any other thing. Right? Use your social media time to build a brand for yourself. This time will not come back. What are you known for? Can you help others? What can you do to help others? Can you guide others? Can you give people something that will help them? That is your brand, and this brand will be useful in getting a job. There are so many people. I recently, on my Manage Better show, which is a show on YouTube that I host, on LinkedIn as well, and those of you are interested in past episode, please go and check my YouTube and LinkedIn shows. I was speaking to a fellow creator from the LinkedIn program that I am part of, and she is 20. Right? She's part of the um, 5 year I am program, integrated program for management, and she's now second year, so she's 20 years old. She has double the followers on LinkedIn than I have, and I've been at it for 10 years. Extremely wisely and articulate. There were companies fighting to get her as an intern, right, because of the popularity. I'm not saying everybody will be like that, right? I'm just wanting to give you an example that if you think that I am 50, I am giving you an example, and therefore the example is useless because you are 22 or 20 and doesn't connect. I am giving you an example which is from your age group. If students are listening to this, so there are students out there, there are young professionals out there who are building their personal brand. Their personal brand is already helping them not only to get an internship, to get also to get a job. They are getting brand partnerships. They are able to build a mastery in their field, and so on. So if you're not using this opportunity today, 2 years down the line, this space will be 10 times more crowded. Everybody is getting onto this, to having a personal brand. You want to start 2 years down the line? Fantastic, please do so. But the competition will be 10 times more, right? Or maybe much more. Okay. So these were the key topics, and I noticed that it's 11:45, which is approximately the time that I was given. I'll just try and wrap up a little bit. So based on all these topics that I've shared with you, let me summarize everything for you. So firstly, what is intentional? Intentional is when you have a plan and intention, you have a direction that you want to go into. You built a plan, you are trying to follow the plan. Plan may not come through, which is fine, but you have a plan. You are working on something. You are not letting life happen to you. You are happening to the life, right? Don't wait for other people's kindness. Do something about it. Don't be a victim. Instead, try and be a victor. Have a victor mindset. Do something about it. You will not always win, but you will not always be a victim also. Don't blame others. Take responsibility for your career. And I shared quite a few examples, some from my career, some from other people's career, where you hopefully you got the idea, right? So, and what can we do? Three key topics. The first one, hard skills, which is mastery in one domain area. Pick one area and go deep into it, become an expert in that area. That is hard skills. Second is soft skills or life skills, as I call things like communication, leadership, followership, keeping promises, having a hobby, time management, and it's all these things. Don't underestimate this. This is probably more, life skills are probably more important than hard skills, uh, and will get you there. The third one in this space was personal branding, which I just spoke about. So do me a favor, take a pen and paper. If you are if you're listening intently, take a pen and paper and write down what do you want to become 5 years, 10. Don't show it to me. Don't show it to anybody. Just write down for yourself. This is you talking to yourself. Whether you are 20, 25, 40, 50, whatever you are, in the next 5 years or next 1 year, what do you want to accomplish? Just one or two things. And then under that, write down clearly what are you going to do in the next few weeks to make that a reality. Bill Gates very famously said that we underestimate what can happen in 10 years, but overestimate what can happen in 1 year. And what I'm asking you to do is that put your intention on paper and then put a plan and then see the magic. Right? If you want to run a marathon in 6 months' time or in a year's time, it will not happen in the 11th month. You will have to start doing something today. The same is true for your career or life. If you want to write that book, if you want to be successful, you want that promotion, you want that job, you will have to do something today, every day, throughout this period for that to happen. Please remember, a lot of other people are, also doing the same. So you have competition. You are not alone, right? And if you have competition, already the chances of winning are less. But if you don't do, the chances of winning are zero. So up to you. With that, I will. It is almost 11:50, which is 50 minutes from the start. So as said, I will give you back some time for questions.
Thank you. It was such an amazing and insightful session, Anshuman sir. And there are many positive comments and encouraging comments are coming for this session. So there are a few questions coming from students to me. So I would like to ask you for a few of them. One of them asking, what is the future of core branches like electrical or civil if in this scenario of increasing demand of AI and ML? So that was a question from student.
So do I have a name of the person or? Okay. Anyway, thank you.
I think this name is not the
Okay,
correct name.
fair, no problem, no problem. So, thank you very much for the question. First of all, I'm glad that you are thinking about your career and thinking about the threats that some new fields are posing, right? So, you're already doing well. Right? So, that's please don't um, beat yourself too much. You're already doing well because you're thinking about the threats. Now, coming to the threats. The pick up the history of modern industrial history of 50 years or 100 years. It has been mostly around since French Revolution 1927 and all. We have had almost 100 years. Every 5 years, there is something new that threatens the world. Every 5 years, or sometimes even lesser. So this is nothing new. Today it is AI ML. 5 years ago it was something else. When we were in college, it was computerization will blow away everything. And if you don't know C++ or that time it was yeah, some C++ was new. You will not survive. But are we not making machines now? Are we not making bridges now? Are we not making buildings now? We are still making it, right? And everybody is doing okay, right? So keep this in mind that these are methods that are applicable. Thank you, Professor Keswani. Always a pleasure having you on the stream. But to come back to the question, so AI and ML is not a threat. It is a tool that you can use in all these areas. So all the core branches have sustained, at least I have been working for 25 plus years. They have sustained these 25 years really well. In fact, many areas, civil, mechanical, are making a comeback also, right? Do you think, for example, Tesla cars are made without mechanical engineers? No, right? So they are required. So they are required. But what I would suggest, whoever has asked this question, is please learn about AI and ML and see where it can be applied in your space. So, but to answer your question, the jobs will remain and they will be fine. But please do look for applications of these areas in your space. Thank you. Ghanshyam Ahuja,
Yes, there is
question:
question
What,
from
yeah, what difference
what difference
you
you
see
see
towards?
towards career attitude of millennials and others born in 70s and 80s? Very
Oh, they are
nice
fantastic.
question.
I think the younger lot is fantastic. They are far more serious about their career. They are doing things that they should be doing. Just because they are not doing what we did doesn't mean that they are useless. They are smarter than we were, At least I was born in 1972. Today's generation, my son is now 20. They are far more serious about their career. They know what they are doing. It is our limited glasses that we don't see, right? So don't. Of course, they have more temptations in life than we had, and they have more opportunities to get distracted. But many youngsters are making, look at the thousands and thousands and maybe millions of youngsters who are making huge strides today. I speak to a lot of youngsters, and I always believe, Ghanshyam Ahuja sir, if as you get older, please find friends who are younger. If you are younger, please find friends who are older. It will keep you balanced in life. So I am fascinated with how the younger generation is managing them. They are really good. They know a lot more, lot more, and attitude is just fine. We have not understood their attitude, so the fault is with us, not with them. Even if the fault is with them, they are the reality. They are the future. We can keep moaning and groaning. Nothing will change. We have to change. Right? So that's what I will say. Their career attitude is just fine, absolutely fine, no problem. It is just different from what we had. So different doesn't mean bad.
Yes, thank you. Can we take two more questions, sir?
Yeah, I'm there if
Yes.
you are there.
There is one question that how to start building this hard skill and soft skills right from the first year. What would be the right direction to build these hard and soft skills amongst right from the first year of engineering? That is a question.
So whoever is asked, I will assume that you are in first year. Fantastic. So if you've attended the session and are taking back this one input, congratulations. I will feel very, very happy after this talk because I was able to plant that seed, right? So extremely happy. Now, how to do? First year may be too early. Please explore multiple topics. So building hard skills, soft skills, yes. Life skills, like I said, I mentioned a few: communication, punctuality, time management. Keeping your promises, building a hobby, many other things, right? Writing, all these kind of things. uh, that you can start anytime, right? Just make a list, commit yourself, build a 21-day habit, and then stretch it to 90 days. It will become a lifelong habit, right? So those are simple things. I think if you pick any book on habit formation or anything, you'll be able to get. But hard skills, I would suggest that in first year, please explore multiple topics. See what is appealing to you. Not just appealing, it should also be something that you can see, that you see yourself 3 years, 5 years into that space. If you are going to get bored out of that hard skill within 6 months or a year, then it is not something that you actually are passionate about. You should see yourself committed to that space for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours rule, if you see that 10,000 hours rule, just do the maths, right? 1 year has 365 days, right? Cut out the 65 days, weekends and all, 300 days. So if you worked for 1 hour on a hobby in on all the days, so 300 days, 300 days, 300 hours, 300 hours. So how many? In 10 hours, 10 years, you will reach 300 to 3,000 only. So it will take you 30 years to build mastery. Obviously, that is very difficult. So you will have to put more hours. So 2 or 3 hours per day. Then maybe in 7, 8, 10 years, you will attain mastery in that space. So people talk about a lot of examples about Beatles and other Bill Gates is an example. Everybody only knows the success. How did they get to that success? Beatles used to play music in small local bars and bands for 5 years. Then they got their first break and then they became famous. So there is nothing called overnight success. You have to put in that effort. That effort, of course, if you're lucky, that mastery will come a little earlier. If you're not, it will come a little later. But please explore multiple topics, and then one topic you can pick. So first, again, thank you to the person who's asked this question, and many congratulations also that you are thinking like this.
Right. Sir, actually, we want you to talk much more. I think one more question we'll be taking from Shreyansh. So, being an industrial engineering engineer myself, it is difficult to find one domain for specialization. Sir, can you please share some tips on how to explore and decide on it? So, for any tips for industrial engineering?
Industrial engineering is the best branch. I'm an industrial engineer, right? So it is the best branch. So you have a golden opportunity of knowing multiple subjects, right, about managing. Yes, you may think that you will not get into a deep of any topic, but that's fine. So I picked quality management, for example, and I can thank Professor Keswani for that. His exposure and the way he taught appealed to us. Right? So. Maybe if he was not our professor, maybe I would have picked something else. I don't know, right? Because that's all speculation. But the uh, so don't blame industrial engineering. Industrial engineering is the best option. You already are in a very good space. Uh, so, for example, if you pick productivity as a space, yeah, so that can be a lifelong journey. How to become more productive, not self productivity, but even machine productivity or other areas. I picked quality. I have other friends who have picked other areas as well. One of my batchmates is Saurabh Pathak, is head of learning and development in Maruti, and he did industrial engineering in my batch. There are other people who are designers from the same batch. Some are, of course, in computer science, and later on moved into computer science and management. So there is a lot of scope for industrial engineers even now. But not knowing you, Sriyansh, I can't really advise you specifically, and I will be the last person to advise anybody specifically. It is your journey, you have to find. I have given you some examples that you can certainly find, and you are already very well placed by becoming an industrial engineer. So you made the right choice there itself.
Very rightly said. Before we end up this question answer session, my personal question to you, Anshuman sir, any expert comments on how to on time management skills? Any expert tips for time management?
So I am no expert. I am still learning myself. But yes, I can see that I am much better at time management today than I was earlier. And that is the attitude that we should have, that if we are better than yesterday, then we are on the right track. You will never be better than everybody. Right? Nobody will be better than everybody. Right? It's all a journey for all of us. So the the essential part of time management is that the time management concept itself is a misnomer. Nobody is able to manage time. Time in itself cannot be managed. You can manage your work and your priorities around the time that you already have. I would have liked the term time management if you had 26 hours and I had 28 hours, but we don't. You also have 24, I also have 24. All of us have the same time. So it is actually management of work and priorities around time that is the crux for time management. So the key lesson is therefore that what are we prioritizing? Do you have a list of priorities, and are you then able to allocate time to those priorities? That is more than enough. That is point one. So management of work and priorities in the time that we have. That is, if you define that way, you will get over this misnomer of called time management. The second is this myth around multitasking. This is the complete nonsense that is served to us over the years, that nobody actually multitasks. Human brain is not capable of multitasking other than mixing cognitive and non-cognitive tasks. So the neocortex and the parts of the brain that operate. So, for example, I'll simplify it. The front part of uses the language, and the other part uses numbers. So both can't be mixed. You can't actually do two tasks which require numbers and language. You can't do. We just pretend, right? Mind has already switched from one task to the other task, unless of course you are saying you are making tea and talking on phone, because these are two non-cognitive tasks. One is cognitive, the other is non-cognitive. We are still able to appear like multitasking. You can't do two important cognitive tasks together. So this multitasking is a huge, complete, apologies for my language, but complete nonsense that is sold to us. Men, women, all alike. Nobody can multitask. So the more we multitask, the lesser our productivity. the more time we need to perform. So therefore, if you do solo tasking, you will complete more, as well as, like you said, you will be able to manage your time better, right? So I would strongly make these 2 points in response to time management. Had there been more time, I would have given you more tips, but I don't really have more tips, right? I follow these two things, so I am sharing those two things.
Very, very, very correctly said. And it was really an amazing and great session going on. But every good thing has, there is a time restriction and we have to come to the end. So I will hand over to Professor Sachin for formal vote of thanks. Thank you, Anshuman sir.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone present all over from India and abroad. I, Professor Sachin Pun, take this privilege to deliver my vote of thanks and the secretary of this RACA. And on behalf of this RACA, I take this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. Uh, First of all, I'd like to express my big thanks to Mr. Anshuman Tiwari. He is the eminent alumnus of the Industrial Engineering 1994 batch. Thank you, sir, for sharing your inspiring views in respect of your topic, that is intentional journey. And thank you very much. And we'll definitely take this and will encash your views and will be helpful in developing the path for all the audience. Thank you, sir. Thereafter, I express my deep gratitude towards the management of the RCOEM and our beloved principal, Dr. R.S. Pandey, sir, for always supporting and inspiring to encourage to organize such kind of the events and all. Thereafter, I'd like to thanks to each and everyone who are directly, indirectly uh, support for this show to go on. Thank you. Thank you.